What's up guys, TechTitan here, and I am back again with a brand new video. So before I begin this video, as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching this one. If you enjoy my content, leave a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. So in today's video, we're going to be comparing the Samsung Galaxy J3 Achieve versus the Galaxy J2, the 2019 edition. And I think to me this is really an interesting comparison, because they both really share some similar things, but at the same time, they're kind of different in their own ways. So let's talk about it. So let's start with the design. Now, I've reviewed the J3 and I did several videos on it, and I'll leave a couple of them linked below. But the J3 has a simplistic, clean design, and I like it. So the back is really clean. It's this matte black plastic. And you have your 8-megapixel camera, your LED flash, your Samsung logo. And on the right hand side you have your power button as well as your side-facing speaker. And on the front you have your 5-inch 720p IPS panel. So on this big chin you have your power button, you have your home button as well as your back and multitasking. Now display quality in general, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good IPS panel. The only complaint that I really do have about it is that it doesn't really get that bright outdoors. And I guess that's kind of a disadvantage of IPS, but that's that. On the bottom you have your 3.5mm headphone jack as well as a micro USB connector, and that's really it. On the left hand side you do have your volume up and down, but that's pretty much it for design. It's clean, it's simple. If the bezels were shrink down, that would have set the design apart, but hey, that's just what Samsung did last year. Now onto the Galaxy J2, the 2019 edition. So obviously this phone, the way that I think about the design of this phone is that it really grabbed a lot of inspiration from the J3 Achieve. The reason I'm saying that is that they share pretty similar design characteristics. So instead of the matte plastic bag, they decided to go with a glossy plastic. I'm not a fan of glossy materials when it comes to smartphones, but that's just me, that's personal preference. And instead of this side-facing speaker, they decided to place it on the back, which makes it sound, which makes it easier to block. I'm not really sure why they decided to do that, but hey, it's whatever. So on the bottom you also have your micro USB and your 3.5mm headphone jack. On the right hand side you have your power button, and on the left you have your volume up and down. And you also have the same 8-megapixel camera, and the front facing is a 5-megapixel camera. So the differences in design between the J3 Achieve, So the differences in design between the J3 Achieve and the Galaxy J2 are the following. So let's start with the front display. So let's start with the display of the J2. So the J2 has the 5-inch QHD display. It is lower than 720p, it's a 540p display. So resolution wise, it's bad. I don't want to say it's good, because it's not. But what's, I guess, the benefit of having this display over the J3 is that it actually uses AMOLED technology. And if you follow smartphones, or if you're into tech in general, then you know that Samsung is the best in the business when it comes to all organic LED screens. Now, the bezels. The bezels are definitely bigger than the J3's bezels, especially the ones on the side. I think they kind of make the front of the phone ugly. Especially when we are at a time where companies are really trying to get rid of bezels altogether. I understand that this is a budget phone and they're not really gonna try and innovate anything new when it comes to the budget phones. But at the same time, I think they could have shrunk down the bezels, at least the side bezels. I don't know, they make the phone look a little bit ugly to me. And instead of the on-screen, instead of the physical buttons, they decided to go with the on-screen capacitive buttons and put this unnecessary Samsung logo on the front. So I'm not really sure what they were thinking when they did that, but that's that. Display-wise, which one I would prefer? I would go with the J3 Achieve. I understand that quality-wise, the OLED is much better than an IPS panel. I get that, but if the resolution doesn't balance it out, then having an OLED, I don't know, it's rough. The reason I'm picking the J3 Achieve is because there's a balance. Yeah, it's not a 1080p or 2K display, but it is a sharp 720p display. It's met by IPS panel, which doesn't really set it apart, but it's a pretty good IPS panel. I do want to say though that the J3, so I do want to say that the J2 does get brighter because it uses AMOLED. So there's that. and color accuracy and saturation, things like that, they will go to the J2. But again, if the resolution is that low and there's not really that bad, if it was 720p AMOLED, then yeah, most definitely this one would be the winner for sure, and the IPS panel wouldn't even be close. But that resolution just messed it up for me. Okay, so now let's discuss specs. So specs are kind of similar. So let's start with the storage. So they both pack 16 gigabytes of storage, not a lot. They are expandable, so there's that. They both have 2 gigabytes of RAM, not a lot. You just have to work with what you got. And at the end of the day, these are. So the J3 is a $60 phone, whereas the J2 is a little bit more expensive at $80. Which one you choose? And I'll give you at the end which phone I would personally choose if I were in that position. So if I were in that position of buying one of these two. Okay, so 16 gigabytes of storage, 2 gigabytes of RAM. The J2 has a 1.4 gigahertz quad-core chip, whereas the J3 has the 1.3 gigahertz octa-core chip. So more cores, a slightly lower clock by 0.1. I don't know if that will really matter or not. So let's quickly do a day-to-day speed test. So the phone app, the messaging app, the internet browser, and see what's that really all about. So let's start with the phone app. So 3, 2, 1. Okay. So the J2 beat the J3 by a tiny bit. And let's do the messaging app. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the J3 beat the J2 by a little bit. So far it's not really a drastic difference in terms of speed. And let's just quickly launch Google Chrome. So 3, 2, 1. That didn't work. Okay, let's load a website. How about that? So let's refresh to the page on both of them. I know that this one needs an upgrade, but we'll do that later. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the J3 was able to load it a little bit faster. Again, not a drastic difference. So speed-wise, I'm gonna say about the same. For the most part, though, they're not supposed to be equipped for anything that demands really heavy graphics performance. So games like 3D gaming is gonna be tough on both of these phones, honestly. And I do want to say one thing though about the J2 in terms of performance. It did crash way more than it should. And I can't really say the same thing for the J3. And lastly, well, okay, so the camera. The camera is similar on both. I do want to say I'm kind of leaning toward the J2 just a little bit, not a lot, because sometimes it gets the exposure right better than the J3, but at the end of the day, for both of these phones, they're not really that good of camera phones to begin with. So if you're looking for a phone with really good camera, these two are really not your first, shouldn't be really your first choice. They're not really that good. Maybe if you're in a really good lighting condition, you might be able to pull off a decent shot. Other than that, you're out of luck, honestly. But for things like checking your social media, they both should be fine. Like checking your Instagram, I don't know, checking your Facebook, Snapchat, whatever. They should do the job just fine. Battery. So the battery life on both of these phones, they're okay. They're definitely average in the budget world. They're not the greatest. And I do want to say that the J2 does charge a little bit faster than the J3, which I thought it was pretty weird. Now, they both really don't support any fast charging or anything like that. But for some reason, the J2 did charge faster than the J3. And yeah. Lastly, the only thing that is left to talk about is the speaker. And honestly, I'm really leaning toward the J3 with that, but I'll let you guys hear it. Okay, so the volume is all the way up. J2 is up first. 3, 2, 1. So you can really block the speaker if you accidentally place your finger on the back. Okay, the J3. So likewise, you can block the speaker on the J3, but you really have to do it on purpose at this point. It's really hard to do this on accident. So yeah. And okay, overall sound quality. Here's what I have to say. The placement of the J2 speakers is definitely worse than the placement of the J3s. Also, the J3 does produce a cleaner sound. I've talked about this on my review. This to me is the worst thought out budget phone that Samsung created. I get the idea that they want to push more budget phones, but so far this year in the budget world, Samsung has been, I don't know, I don't want to say struggling, but they haven't really been impressing the budget audience. Maybe they shouldn't, but hey, I'm just saying. Of course, in their flagship phones, they are crushing it. The S10, the S10 Plus, as well as the S10e, which supposedly is their budget flagship phone, I guess. But in terms of the budget world, really, LG is the one that's killing the budget world right now. But yeah, so which one I would pick? But the phone that I would pick is the J3 Achieve. The quality of the display doesn't match the quality of the J2, but the resolution and the balance between quality and resolution is what wins it for me. The bezels, the side bezels are smaller, which makes the front of the phone, which is the area that you would most likely will interact with every single day whenever you grab the phone. It looks better in the front than the J2, that's 100% for sure. Other than that, I mean, design-wise in the back, they do share a lot of similarities. I'm not really a fan of this glossy back. Battery life, they're the same, average. Like I said, performance, kind of similar as you guys saw earlier in the day-to-day speed test. But I did say that the J2 did crash on me way more than it should. That's why I'm going with the J3 in terms of performance. Camera, about the same. The battery life, also about the same, average, but the J2 did charge a little bit more. So, but the J2 did charge faster for some reason, who knows why. But yeah, so that's it. That's really all I have for this video. I hope it helped in some way. And if you enjoy my content, leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more. And I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about this. Would you go with the J3 or would you go with the J2 if you were in the position of buying one of these phones? So yeah, leave it in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching this one. If you enjoyed it, leave a thumbs up. And I will definitely catch you guys in the next video. So yeah, thanks for watching.